guys, and welcome back. We're going to start a little video series today. It's probably going to be a 2, maybe 3-part series. And hopefully, as I've said before, I hope that it doesn't bore you too much, but we're in the shop here today, and I thought that we would go ahead and try to replace this handle on this double bit axe that I used in our last video. A little history behind this axe. It was my grandfather, Carl Pratt's axe, and it is a Kelly Works axe head. The handle that was in it was in really terrible shape, and I replaced it with a brand new hickory handle once, and while I was splitting wood, I officially broke it. So it's no longer usable. So I thought that I would try to go ahead and put a new handle in this, and we do different things throughout the year, so we're going to do videos that haven't got a whole lot to do with flowers through the winter, but we just kind of wanted to stay active and kind of give you an idea of what we do here through the winter. Of course, splitting wood is a really big part of that, especially in the fall, and it's so nasty outside today. There's not a whole lot we can do for the next couple of days. We did get all the wood that we had cut, split, put in the barn. But we thought we would start this series today. And you know, these old hand tools, they really interest me. We have a lot of old tools that have been handed down over the years. And when I was a kid, of course, I didn't care anything about it. And you know, tools that have laid around for years, never thought a thing of. I have taken quite the interest in them. So I'm trying to restore some of those and use them. And they're very usable. And it's tools like this that seem very irrelevant in 2017 that were very important in the history of our country. Double bit axe played a huge role in clearing the land around. So they are a very useful tool. And I found out about 2 years ago, my dad asked me if I would get a handle for a sledgehammer that we had broken out. And I went and got it, and I found out how ignorant I really was. I had never put a handle in a tool before. And we just made a plumb mess out of it. So I got it in there, but it sure isn't pretty. So that was the day that I decided that I would go ahead and try to learn how to do some of these things that just nobody does anymore. We live in a kind of a throwaway society anymore. If you break a handle, just go get a new axe or sledgehammer. But so I'm trying to learn some of those things, and I want to bring you along and show you. This is about my 5th handle that I've put in. So I want to show you how I go about doing it. I know there's 1,000 different ways of doing it, and I'm sure I'm far from knowing everything about it, but I would at least like to show you how I do it, and then you can, if you take an interest, you can learn a whole lot more and probably do a whole lot better job than I could do. But we're going to go ahead and try to get a new handle in this, and we'll break these down a little bit, these videos, because I don't want to bore you with really long videos. So, and I apologize for the lighting. This old shop's really not meant for doing videos, but we'll do the best that we can. And I'll try to show you as best I can on how I go about replacing these handles. Okay guys, the first thing that you have to do when you're wanting to replace an axe handle is you have to figure out a way to get the old one out. Sometimes that can be a little bit tricky, because a lot of times if the handle is broke, you still have a head that is very tight. So I just thought I'd kind of go over how I do that first of all. So I've got an Irwin Japanese style saw. It's got a coarse tooth on one side and a fine tooth on the other. But the first thing that I'll do is cut this axe head off as close as I can to the actual head, and I'll show you why here just in a minute. We'll go ahead and cut this off. Okay, so that gets rid of the old handle. And it's really kind of a shame. This is a brand new handle that I put a lot of time in, but you just never know. You never know when they're going to have a weak spot in them, so that's something you have to learn. But the next step, usually if you have any kind of a tool that's wedged in wood, and this is the best way that anybody has ever come up with to attach wood to steel. If you can ever come up with a better way, you'll be rich. But you'll have metal wedges in here. Those metal wedges are placed in there to spread that wood that way. The wooden wedge that's in the middle spreads it out towards the sides. The metal wedges spread it lengthways so that it makes it tight both directions. So the first thing we need to do after getting rid of that handle is to try to get those wedges, the metal wedges, out. The way I do that, it's worked really good for me. I'll show you, but you can take a punch and kind of get just under the edge of that, and that should you should be able to just punch that right up out of there. So we'll go ahead and see if we can't get one or two, both of those wedges out. We'll just get that punch right underneath of that corner of that wedge. We'll kind of angle that down until we can get a bite on that wedge, and we should be able to drive it right up out of there. Coming out really easy. These are step wedges. That's what they look like. They're tapered both ways. Well, that one came out real easy. This one's not quite so easy. There it comes. Alrighty, so both those steel wedges are out. Alright, now that's the first step. We've got a wooden wedge right in the center of this to press that wood out tight against the steel, and it was put in there super tight. So it would be nearly impossible to drive this handle out of this head without doing what I do next. And that is, I'll take a drill and drill several holes down through the wood, clear through the head. And that's the reason that I cut the handle off short. If I can get this drill bit completely through that wood, out the bottom, then that really weakens it. Gives you some room that it'll kind of squeeze together and makes it a whole lot easier to get out. Sometimes this can be a very tricky part of the job. So, but that's what we'll do next. We'll try to drill this wedge out and see what happens. Very important to try to get your bit centered as close as you can so you don't hit the sides of the axe going down through it. Alright, so basically we're just going to go across the axe here. And I won't make you watch all of it, so we're just going to go across the axe and try to get several holes across through there, and then we'll try to drive that out of there shortly. So. Alright guys, I got it drilled out there. If I can get the lighting right, you can see it's starting to drive out quite easily. But we managed to drill the entire wedge out, so it's going to go really easy. So we will go ahead and I just used an old ratchet from years ago that no longer works. We'll just kind of see if we can drive that handle down the bottom there. Okay, so there's the old handle, and I got out the side of it there just a little bit, but didn't seem to harm anything. There's the axe head, ready for a new handle. So that'll probably do us for today. We're now on the search for a new handle. I like to take it with me and try to find one as close as I can that'll fit without doing too much work. Probably won't have a lot of luck with that, but at least we'll take it with us and see. But we thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next video.